Hello, St. Mary's fans, and welcome to the Gael Hoops Report, bringing you off-season coverage of St. Mary's basketball. I'm Alex Jensen, and today we've got our last shot with outgoing seniors Dane Pineau and Joe Rahon, who set school records for wins in each of the last 2 years, compiling 29 in both 2016 and 2017, both school records, and an NCAA tournament win in this past year. Today we talk about each player's St. Mary's career, what's next for Joe and Dane, and the state of the program. Enjoy. Alex Jensen with Dane Pineau here on our Last Shot podcast with our graduating seniors here, and we will start with Dane Pineau, who I see has grown some facial hair since the end of the season. It is May 4th currently, and you're sporting a nice mustache there, Dane.
Yeah, thank you very much. May the 4th be with you. It's Star Wars Day today for those of you who are not aware or have not seen the movies. Yeah, I grew my mustache out. It's just like a couple of days ago. I just was shaving and I forgot to shave my mustache, so just bam, right there, it's in your face, you know.
A couple days ago.
Yeah, just a couple of days.
Grows fast.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Well, I mean, what's life been like here, Dane, since the end of the season? I mean, we got back from Salt Lake City. I guess that was late March, early April, and I just kind of had a month to go to class and hang out around campus, enjoy the sunshine, what we've had anyway the last couple of weeks. But, you know, really kind of your first taste of life here at St. Mary's without officially being a part of the basketball team. I mean, officially, right? So what has that been like for you?
Yeah, it has been a little kind of relaxing, sort of just being a regular college student. I sort of took the month of April to I didn't do no basketball, but I did take a bit of a break, and it was kind of nice to sort of hang out and not really have a schedule in mind and go off and do a couple of different things that I wouldn't normally be able to do if I had all the basketball activities on my schedule. I got to go to the Stagecoach Festival with Joe, who's coming on next, and that was really fun. And you know, Emmett, Cal, and I, sorry, we got to go on a nice spring break and went to Austin and Yosemite, and which is also really fun. So it's just been a kind of a little bit of a relaxing time for me, and I have done a little bit of basketball. Probably need to do a little bit more as I go forward. But yeah, for sure, it's been a nice change of pace to sort of be free of the schedule that we've had for the last 4 years.
Do you say Austin, Texas?
Austin,
Texas, and Yosemite.
Yeah.
You fit all that into a month and a half.
Yeah. I mean,
that's impressive.
I hardly do school. I've got 2 classes. I've got one of them's Tuesday, Thursday, and one of them's Wednesday night. So there's plenty of free time rolling around. So
you're holding me to a tight schedule here with basically no schedule for yourself.
Holding you to a tight schedule? I have nowhere to be. I said I could do this interview all day. It was Joe's. Joe's one who was complaining about it.
Fair enough. We'll get his thoughts on the matter as well. You look back on the path that led you to St. Mary's, Dane. How did you end up picking St. Mary's? Obviously, there were plenty of Australians who came here before you, Patty Mills, Matthew Dellavedova, just to name a couple. But what kind of led you here? What was the deciding factor where you said, hey, I want to go to St. Mary's, and on top of that, has this whole experience here turned out how you expected or how you hoped?
Yeah, look, it was a long time ago, but I remember those guys you mentioned definitely had a big influence on me when I was coming here. Just with, you know, there's a lot of really good Australians who'd come to St. Mary's before, and it makes it a really attractive place to come play because you want to try and help continue the legacy they've built here. And all the work that they did before us is what gives people like me an opportunity to come here because it made St. Mary's more willing to recruit Australian basketball players. So it was kind of like a thing that you always think about when you hear is that you try and do your best you can so that there's opportunities for other Australian players like yourself in the future. And then I came on my visit as well, so that also had a big part of it. And I met all the guys, and it just seemed like a really close team, and it seemed to be really fun to be a part of something like that. So yeah, I took one visit back in 2011. Feels like forever ago, and I committed right after I came here. I just loved the place and love the atmosphere and everything about it. So yeah, it was a pretty easy decision for me, and super glad that I made the choice that I did. I've had the best time I could possibly imagine.
That sounds like kind of a constant theme with all the guys that do end up here is just the closeness of everyone here and how you kind of feel like a family and how you get along with the guys so well. I mean, and that seems to carry on from really one class to the next, and really one wave to the next.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the culture here is just, you know, you do stuff together as a team, and it makes you I mean, the coach emphasizes it too, but they do a good job of recruiting good guys. I mean, like all 1 through 15, they recruited guys who just good people really, and it's nice when you get to look down the line, you just get on with everyone. So it's a bit of the recruiting that they do, and then it's also we're also quite bought into it where we want to do stuff as a team, we want to be close, and we want to make sure that we have that kind of chemistry because it definitely helps out on the court as well.
20 wins in each of your 4 years here. You've compiled 102 wins and 33 losses in your St. Mary's career, and maybe considering that record, surprisingly, playing in the NCAA tournament for the first time this past year, when you go to college, that's obviously got to be the goal, right? Is playing in that field of 68 and having the chance to play for a national championship.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've been following that for a long time. I remember watching the tournament since I was like maybe 10 or 11 years old, just with my dad and trying to pick the brackets and stuff like that. It's such a huge event, and it's so well recognized that it is the goal of pretty much anyone that comes over here. And we should have done it. We should have been to 2. We should have definitely been the year before.
I agree with you.
That was daylight robbery, but to get a chance to do it my senior year was an unbelievable experience. I'll never forget. It was just such a big deal. Like, they made us feel so important with like the police escorts and stuff like that, and all the media time we had. Not that it doesn't feel big time when I do media with you guys, but we were in the locker room for like.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, we had to set aside media time for like other people and stuff like that. I don't know. It just seemed like a whole lot, and it was a really cool experience, and I'm very lucky that I got to be part of it.
Is that your biggest accomplishment here? Is being able to play in that event?
If I look back, I'm obviously gonna look back very fondly at that, but I think probably winning the WCC the year before, and I think probably my fondest memory will be when we beat Gonzaga here for the first time and stormed the court after.
That was an unbelievable game.
That was just, we came back from a fair way down. I don't know exactly how many points it was, but it was double figures, I think. And
17 in the second half, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's right. It was a lot, and a court storm is something as well. It's something you dream of too. And that was unbelievable. I think about it. I still get goosebumps when I think back about it sometimes. And it was just, it was funny too because I think we went into the game as favourites and we still stormed the court. But maybe it was slightly inappropriate, but it was so cool just to be a part of something like that. And having never beat them before that, it was something. That was quite special too. That was an amazing experience.
The thing about that game, I'm not sure so much it was the fact that you were favorites, but just the way that game unfolded. How you fell down by 17 in the second half, and you make a run in the last 10 minutes to win in the last, really the last minute of the game. That it was a crazy finish, and that's probably the reason that the court was. Obviously beating Gonzaga at any time is a big deal, but becoming, I think, maybe a little bit more marginal of a deal now as the years go by, but the way that game unfolded was, I think that's what caused the excitement. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of people in the crowd hadn't seen us beat Gonzaga because even the team before us had lost to Gonzaga 3 times as well. So there was pretty much everyone in the crowd. I don't think they'd seen us beat Gonzaga before. So that was another thing too they were excited about. And yeah, the way we finished it off, with our real tactical foul of who was that we fouled? It was whoever it was. We fouled them even though they were only up 1 and they were in the bonus.
McClellan, I think.
McClellan, it was McClellan.
Yeah.
We fouled McClellan. Joey tactically fouled McClellan, so we put him on the line because he knew
brilliant move.
Knew he'd choke and miss the first one on the 1-on-1, and we get the ball back, and that was just really smart play by him. And Emmett, I believe, was on that told him to do it, so I've got to give a little bit of credit to him too. That was
always one step ahead.
Yeah, exactly. They're playing checkers, he's playing chess. So,
so that must have been, the best moment for you in your St. Mary's career, and B, the best home atmosphere, I would assume, is that game here against Gonzaga. And really all 4. I gotta ask you about game day. We talk about all the media and the outside stuff. And I know you guys don't focus on that much on that stuff during the season, but looking back, how special was having College Game Day here in Moraga, being the game on the national stage in the heart of college basketball season?
That was really cool, for sure. I wish we played a little bit better in that game, but it was incredible, like the stuff that was going on. There's a guy camped out the night before to get into the game and stuff like that. And
you see that in Provo and Spokane every now and then, but not often here.
They get up early for the tickets, but to wait out for the game the night before just seemed crazy to me. And Jay Billis here as well, which was just a really cool thing to see. I mean, he's a legend. And I mean, it was just crazy. I mean, they redid the garden in front of the school just for game day. It was like it was just really like over the top almost. But it was cool to be a part of something like that. Where I mean, you never expected college game day to come to a place like Moraga. We're by far the smallest town to ever have one. So that's just special. It shows how much our program's grown, and also Gonzaga was really good this year too. So it also showed a bit about that. But I mean, I read before. I think someone wrote in I think it was like Zach Lowe or something like that. Might have one time come to a game here and said that it's like the best college atmosphere is the Gonzaga St. Mary's game, just because it gets so loud in here or something like that. And so that crowd atmosphere at all those Gonzaga games are pretty incredible. And that day, I guess it especially was. It was a shame we lost, but it was still amazing.
The atmosphere here when it's full and it's rocking, I mean, it's unique. It's a unique place to watch a game, especially for those coming from elsewhere in the world where college basketball is played in bigger venues, and it feels more like this feels like almost a packed high school gym. And it really, I mean, my thought would be anyway, playing in front of that many people in such a small area, that's got to be pretty special.
Yeah, I mean, the BYU guys are calling us a high school gym when they came here.
That's true.
I mean, I remember even on my visit when I came, we played BYU, and we won that game like 20 as well, and the crowd was just so loud. It felt like it was a lot more than 3,000 people in there, and it just like the sound is just sort of it's like it makes your ears ring almost. It's like hard to hear out there, and I mean the Moraga Maniacs, they go crazy out there.
Nice. Moraga, can we get that trademarked? Maybe make some T-shirts? That's. Did you pull that from somewhere, or is that all from the mind of Dane Pineau?
Right off the top of the
right
dome.
off the top of the head. I know. Okay, best road. We talked about home. Best road atmosphere you played in your 4 years. If there's a particular game that stands out, or just a place.
I mean, the tournament was cool. Playing in the Jazz Arena. The first year we went to BYU was the year after Delhi hit his Del of a Dagger.
Mm-hmm.
So that was packed. That was incredible. The other year,
it's packed this year too.
This year it was, but I swear the first year we went was when it was most full. And they had I think they were better that year too. So that's probably why it was more packed out. And that was really cool too. That was my first time playing in front of a really huge crowd like that. And the stands feel like they go up forever. The Gonzaga crowd though is pretty incredible. Those guys, they get there like an hour. Their student section's packed out an hour and a half before the game. And then just when you're going out to warm up and just shoot around casually, they're already yelling at you from the sidelines and stuff like that.
I'll give them credit. They do it right up there.
Yeah, they do. They have a very faithful supporting section, and they really, really get into it. So yeah, they do a very good job.
Where do you feel you've improved most from your freshman year to now?
I mean, aside from my ability to grow facial hair, or just like
is that the second time you've used that? Yeah, besides your ability to grow facial hair, which is quite impressive, if I do say so myself. But aside from your ability to grow facial hair, you can expand on that too if you want. But you can go off the court and talk about that, or more specifically on the court, where you feel you've gotten better and how you've taken that next step.
I think
as a player.
I've definitely gotten better on the defensive end for sure. I mean, Coach B hammers it in a lot, and their principles and stuff like that. And for 4 years, I feel like I've grown the most in the defensive aspect of the game, and also just a little bit in my leadership too, and being more confident out there, just amongst the team, and that's something that they've worked on with us a lot as well. So those two areas for sure on the court, I think, is where St. Mary's has helped me grow a lot.
How does this coaching staff and this program get the most out of everyone who comes through here?
I mean, they just dedicate a lot of time to us. I mean, they really care about everyone. And we have individuals, and everyone that's on the court, they genuinely want them to get better, and they always give up their time if you want to practice, or you want to shoot around, or you want to look at film. So yeah, they work really hard. I mean, there's no real secret to it. And that's all of them too. There's no exception to that, which is why I think they do such a good job.
If you were pitching St. Mary's, not just as a program, but a school, to a prospective student, maybe even a prospective basketball player, we'll say, what would you say? How did it impact you the most? What's the biggest selling point that St. Mary's has as a school, as a program?
Well, as for a basketball player, I mean, it's easy to advertise the fact that we're just a winning program. I mean, if you want to come in and win games, then you want to come here. And it's funny how much you enjoy basketball more when you're winning. I mean, my sister is at Boston College, just as an example. They won 2 games in conference.
Yeah.
And even though she gets to play all the time, it's not as enjoyable. And like that's just the thing is you get to enjoying wins with your team is the best part of the sport. I mean, you get to come back in the locker room and celebrate and stuff like that, and talk about all the good plays with your friends and everything. So that's like the best part of basketball. So winning for a basketball player, it's easy to just advertise as winning. And as a student, I mean, just the community atmosphere is unbelievable. You walk around campus, you sort of know everyone, and there's not that many people. I mean, I feel like I know all the people in the cafeteria as well that work there. So I walk in, like I've been here for 4 years now, going to get the same omelette. So I walk in now, and they know my order already when I walk in, and start cooking that. And it's just little things like that where it just feels like you're sort of part of like a community that makes St. Mary's so enjoyable for me.
So you've signed a contract with the Sydney Kings for next season. Congratulations, first of all, well deserved. How did that come about? Is that a league that you always had your eye on? Obviously, that being your native country. Is that a place you always kind of wanted to go? I know you told me you wanted to play professional basketball, but in particular, is that what you had your eye on? Yeah,
definitely. I really wanted to go home. That was as soon as I got. I was in talks with NBL teams. I just jumped on it right away. I didn't even really. I mean, I would like to play in Europe later on in my career if I can. I'd have to keep improving, getting better as an import in Europe. But it's trying to play as an import in Europe. Sorry, but definitely wanted to play in the NBL. It'd be so good to go. It's going to be so good to go back home and see all my friends and my family and the Kings too. Is coach I've known him for a long time, which I'm excited to go and play for him too. So yeah, it's really a dream come true for me. I had to play basketball for a living in the best country in the world.
Will we see you at the Gael's All-Star Classic in was that June?
June.
End of June.
Yeah, I'm gonna absolutely. I will be there. I actually probably shouldn't commit so wholeheartedly to it, but I really want to be there. So I'm gonna do everything I can because I really want to come back and see all the guys and be a part of that weekend.
Joe, that is June 25th, by the way. The Gael's All-Star Classic tickets, I'm sure, available as we speak. Get that little plug in there.
Yeah, well done.
Final question for you: did Joe Rahon throw a strike for the first pitch at AT&T Park?
I felt like he would have caught him swinging for sure. I mean, he was a little bit low to be just a cold strike, but I felt like the batter would have reached for it. You know, it was one of those nice curveballs that he just threw in there, and I thought it was just a great pitch by Joe. He did an excellent job there.
We already know your baseball acumen. I mean, we've seen you in the broadcast booth. You've got a strong grip on the game. Please tell Marty Clark that. What was the argument we were having one day? I think it was baseball versus cricket, maybe. And you're probably going to end up choosing cricket.
Oh yeah, I'm going to go cricket.
Yeah.
Cricket is great. You have no idea how much fun cricket is.
You're right. I don't. Yeah. I don't. You're right.
It's like imagine like the guys just get to stay in until they like hit home runs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's way more exciting.
Well, doesn't that give too big of an advantage to the batter?
No, because the other team gets to do it as well.
Well, that's fair enough, I guess. There's only.
I mean, you can go out. It's just that.
Sure.
Generally, like there'll be guys who stay in for a lot longer and they get to do cool stuff.
I think
hit the ball a lot more.
Marty's argument to me was if you made the bases like 10 feet closer, there would be more offense and therefore it would be more exciting.
I don't know that because you still got to hit it past the field.
Thank you. Well, I'm talking about baseball. You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you could tell him that for me.
I mean, bringing the base in would really make no difference. I mean, it would make some difference. I shouldn't say no difference.
Right.
But like, not as much as he probably thinks.
I think it'd make a lot of difference. I think it'd make a lot of difference.
Really?
Yeah. The measurements are so perfect. 90 feet, right? If you bobble it at all, got a fast guy.
Oh, that's true, actually.
Yeah.
I guess it would be easy to get on base. Yeah, now I feel silly.
Yeah. Well, I think Marty's argument was it's too hard to get on base. You have 9 guys out there with gloves on. It's just there's not enough offense.
Yeah, but, I mean, that's not like – I feel like when you go to the baseball, you go with your friends – and you're just sort of relaxing.
You're hanging out.
Enjoying yourself. And then
enjoying the sunshine.
And then if you get to celebrate like some hits and stuff like that, it's kind of like almost a bonus. You're just more there just to hang out. It's great pastime.
You go out to
the national pastime, one might say.
Well said. Yeah. If you do go out to Louis Gisto Field, you might find Dane Pineau out there. I've seen him a couple times. It's
yeah, Joe can base. I'll be there tomorrow. It's $1 tacos.
There you go. It's a $1 tacos. There you go. That's another plug for you. St. Mary's Bay. That's a huge series this weekend, by the way. A big series.
Taco de Mayo.
Yeah. No question.
Absolutely.
Dane, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure covering your 4 years here. Best of luck in whatever's next. I'm sure I'll see you before you leave, hopefully at the Gael All-Star Classic, if not before. And once again, thanks for joining us all year.
Absolutely. The pleasure's been all mine. It's been an unbelievable experience for 4 years, and I've always loved coming and doing interviews with you, AJ, and None have been better than being on AJ's podcast.
This is the Gael's Hoop Report. Gael Hoop Report.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gael Hoop Report.
Yeah.
Nothing's been better than being on the Gael Hoop Report.
Well, that's just this one. You can call my podcast post game. That's fine. All right, Dane Pineau on the Gael Hoop Report. Dane Pineau's last shot here at St. Mary's, as you can catch him at the All-Star Classic on June 25th. All right, continuing on the Gael Hoop Report, our off-season edition, our final shot edition. Our seniors, graduating seniors here at St. Mary's, Dane Pineau and Joe Rahon, and it is now Joe Rahon's turn to join the program. So you have now been at St. Mary's for, we'll start the same way we started with Dane. Actually, I have to ask you, I mean, we just talked about it off air, but I've got to ask you about the first pitch out at AT&T Park. I know you said you threw a two-seam growing up, Joe.
Two-seamer, yep, tails down and into righties. So, yeah, I like to say it crossed the plate at the knees, and then by the time it got to the catcher, it was just a little low. But I was up 1-2 in the count, so I was just getting to chase something, and you never know. Maybe they swing at it. But no, I was just trying to go up there and not embarrass myself and end up on SportsCenter with one of those awful first pitches. So I accomplished that, so it was a lot of fun.
Now, the real question here is, did you go from the rubber? Or did you go okay,
I
was gonna
had
say.
to go from the rubber.
You have to. Even if you bounce it.
Exactly, because if you mess up when you're not on the rubber, then it's just you have no excuse. But I went to the rubber, and the only reason I threw it low, I claim, is because I hadn't thrown off a mound in years.
Yeah. So
step it down off the mound, it's a little different. But yeah, you have if you're under like 45, 50, you got to go from the rubber.
I mean, does being in that big of a stadium with that many people there, does that get to you? I would not think it would get out of anybody on the team. You're the guy I would say.
Yeah, no, you don't really think about it. I just hadn't thrown a baseball in a while, so that's the only there could have been one person watching or 20,000. It didn't matter to me. I was just like, all right, need to get it to the glove. That's all I was thinking. Get it to where the catcher can catch it without moving too much. So.
That's almost like public speaking. It's almost like one person would be worse than 20,000 people, because 20,000 people are just faces in the crowd.
Exactly.
One person,
you're not paying attention to that. And then I had my teammates heckling me in my windup, so yeah, the crowd wasn't that big of a factor for me at all.
Alex Jensen with Joe Rahon here on the Gael Hoop Report. Well, Joe, how's life been at St. Mary's here without being officially a part of the basketball program? Just asked Dane the same question, but I saw you walking around on campus last weekend, of course, enjoying the sunshine. But has that been weird for you?
It's definitely been weird. You're not getting a text. We still get the text, actually. We're all still in the group chat, but when they send a text, waits at 3, and I look at it like, I don't actually have to go to that. So it's weird. You got a little more free time, but I'm kind of recovering from my knee injury still. So I've been focused on that. So I've been busier than I thought I'd be. Just with that, I still see Tony every day for it, and come in, do my weights with Dane, and we'll shoot a little bit. But yeah, it's definitely weird not being around the coaches and the guys as much as you normally are. Like, I'll go in, and sometimes some of the guys will be like, hell, I haven't seen you in a couple of days, which when you're on the team, you see them every day. So that's a little different, but it's been nice. The weather's beautiful, so get to enjoy the pool a little more than we used to in past springs, so I can't really complain.
The path that led you here to St. Mary's, obviously, it was a different path than we talked about with Dane. But the 2 years at Boston College, and we've talked to you about your transfer, but what attracted you to a place like St. Mary's and Coach Bennett in this program?
Yeah, I was really attracted to it out of high school. It was really down to Stanford, St. Mary's, and Boston College, and then it was really down to Boston College and St. Mary's. And Coach Bennett was the first thing. Well, actually, the first thing was their teams in the past. Like, I grew up watching Patty because my brother went to Santa Clara. I want to say Patty's sophomore, freshman year. They might have been freshmen together. Maybe Patty was a sophomore. And the way they played, and they were just so good, and they played off their guards a lot, and then all of a sudden Mickey and Deli played, and that's just a fun style to play. As a kid, you're really only watching the offense, so you're like, oh, ball screens, and I'm a point guard, this is fun. And then when Coach Bennett called me, I think first time I talked to him was junior year of high school, and we just hit it off right away. He's a San Diego guy, I'm a San Diego guy, so we hit it off the bat with Mexican food and the beach and the sunshine. So we're in agreement that San Diego's the best city on earth. So we hit it off in that sense, and then I got to know their style of play even more, got to know some of the guys on the team and just kind of the personalities along with it. So I really liked it. And my brother going through the process the first time, or before me I should say, talked to me just about how important a coach-player relationship is. Like, you want to go somewhere where you really have a great relationship with the coach and you trust them and they know your game well enough so when you get there, there's no surprises. And I felt that I had a great relationship with Coach Bennett, but I also had a great relationship with Coach Donahue at Boston College. And I'm kind of the ACC and getting to watch those games on TV growing up on ESPN. You see the Dukes and the Carolinas. It was tough to turn down, so I went out there.
Who could blame you, really?
Played for 2 years. Things didn't work out our second year, and Coach Donahue ended up getting let go. So immediately when I was deciding whether to transfer to stay in my head, I was like, man, if St. Mary's has a spot and I transfer, I'd love to go there. And then I was lucky enough, Coach Bennett gave me a call. They had a spot, and it was kind of an easy decision from that point. When I was transferring, St. Mary's is really the one school I really wanted to come play for, and if they didn't have a spot, I would have had to find somewhere else. But I wanted a second chance to come play for Coach B in Moraga, and I was lucky enough to get that chance.
Has it been what you expected? I mean, and what you hoped when you came here?
More, better than I hoped. Came here to win, really. Play for Coach Bennett, get better as a player, obviously get a good education. But being on a team at BC where we didn't win as much as I thought we would, I really wanted to win. Growing up, you're generally, most guys that are playing in college were on winning teams. You kind of just will your team to win at that level when you're younger. But nowhere did I dream of winning 58 games in 2 years, 2 straight 29-win seasons, which has never been done at St. Mary's. So the success we had was more than I expected. I expected to come in, hopefully win around 20, 25 games a year, compete to make the tournament, compete for WCC titles, and we did all that, but just on a grander scale. So it was a lot of fun and more than anything I could have hoped for.
It's interesting. I mean, you say that the thing that outside of Coach B, the thing that drew you here most was the winning atmosphere here, and it seems like that's what is most important to every single guy in that locker room just about year in and year out. I mean, that's really the culture here.
Yeah, that's why we're good. When you have 15 guys all in there, and, yeah, everyone wants to play, everyone wants to start, everyone wants to win awards and all that, but when your main priority is winning, you have a really good chance to win. It just makes you more coachable, and you know the coaches want to help you get better and just want the team to win because that's obviously their job. And when everyone buys into just winning and whatever it takes to win, I'd like to use Steph Gonzalez and Kyle Clark this year were unbelievable in the sense of they had great freshman years on the court. They played a lot, had a significant role, 29-win team. And then they came and their roles kind of took a step back on the court this year, but in practice, in the locker room, their energy, their attitude, it never changed. You couldn't tell from last year to this year. Just looking at their faces, their body language. And when you're surrounded by players like that, especially as a senior where it's my last go at it and you want everyone bought in, you couldn't ask for better teammates. And we really are a family. And, yeah, everyone cares about winning. Coming into the locker room after a win compared to a loss, it's a lot more fun with the win. So when everyone buys in, special things happen, and we had a pretty special 2 years here, so it was really fun.
You mentioned before you go to college, I mean, you watch the offense, right? But
yep.
This past year may have been one of the best defensive teams that Coach Bennett's ever had here.
Yeah.
And yourself, the defensive player of the year, congratulations, by the way, in the conference.
Thank you.
What made you guys so good defensively? I mean, obviously it was kind of a unit type of deal. And did you feel like you personally improved on the defensive end after you got to St. Mary's, or was that something you felt like you always had?
I definitely improved. I was always a pretty good defender. I took pride in it. My dad made sure of that when I was growing up, and I'm really grateful for it, that focused a lot on defense and took pride in guarding the other team's best player, and that's kind of how I always felt the measuring stick should go. Can you guard him better than he can guard you, type of a thing. So growing up, always focused on defense, but here the program made me quicker, made me see things better. Whether it's Tony Kearns, the trainer, and now Steve, our weight coach, just getting better laterally and getting better, stronger in the hips and more flexible. Marty Clark had big stuff to do with that too. So they definitely got me more athletic to be able to guard, and then the way they teach the game and they taught the defensive philosophies, it made a lot of sense to me. And once I clicked in, I was able to really just lock into guys, and they gave me great scouting reports. Like you read the scouting report list, no right. If he goes left, he likes to pull up. If it's right, it's to the rim. Don't let him catch and shoot. Like they give you a layout, and you just got to go do it. And I'm lucky enough you study a little bit, you remember it in the games, and they just give you the coaches give you put you in a position to succeed, and you just got to go out and execute. So we were really lucky in that sense. And yeah, defensively, we took a lot of pride in it, and that goes in with everyone wants to win. And in college, if you defend and you rebound, no matter what you do on offense, you give yourself a chance. And then we happen to have some good offensive players too. So We generally had a great chance to win most games, but we never slept on the defense and rebounding part of basketball, and that's what winning's about in college.
It is amazing to watch that. You're absolutely right. I mean, they've spent so much time on those scouting reports, and then 90% of your shoot-arounds the day before the game is focusing on a defensive game plan.
We don't shoot. We don't know why we call it a shoot-around because we never shoot.
It's basically a walkthrough, right?
It's it's a walkthrough. It is. It's 58 minutes of walking through, and then we'll shoot a 3-minute free throw game at the end, and that's what our walkthrough is. So we'll go an hour basically walk through after practice the day before, and then the next time we meet is another hour walkthrough. So they really get the plays in your head and you get the personnel in your head. So when you go to the game, you're not really thinking too much. You're just like, oh, number 34, he goes left, and then you just know it. At first, I thought it was weird. I was like, wait, like my redshirt year, I'm going there day before the game. It's like, oh, like we just walk through. Like people are showing up with like jackets under their jerseys because like you're just, if it's a cold gym, you just walk through and then you shoot some free throws. So it took some getting used to, but in the games, you definitely notice how much it helps you on the court. So it's really neat, and I think it's a big reason why we're successful on the defensive end.
It's fun to watch those guys work. I mean, I look at what they have, and it's a yellow pad of just scribbles.
It's amazing.
And it's
sheets front and back of it, and like when coaches are actually teaching you the plays, the other team's plays, like they don't even have the plays drawn up. They just know it. They watch so much film, or like Coach B's like, oh, show them the flex, the back door, and they just like immediately start putting guys in spot. Like it's our play. It's like we don't run that, but yeah, the assistants know it off the top of your head, and Coach Bennett also probably knows it. We just noticed even when we come on a plane after a road trip, we just won 2 games, flying back, and whoever scouted is for the next Thursday's game is already watching film on the plane ride home. Like those guys, the coaches never rest, and their work ethic just kind of seeps into us. And when we say how hard they work, we feel obligated to work just as hard on the court. So it's a really cool and special program. It's really like a family, and lucky to be a part of it.
You play college basketball. Obviously, I mean, you want to get better, and I think that's every kid playing in high school. They want to play Division I basketball, but you play college basketball to make it to the NCAA tournament and play in March Madness.
Definitely.
Would you say that was, not just for you, but for you as a part of a team, the biggest accomplishment you've had here at St. Mary's?
Without a doubt. My favorite memory of athletics, the best accomplishment I feel like I've had in athletics, my brother tried to warn me because he went to 3 at San Diego State.
Lucky guy.
Yes, he had some talent around him, but he was good too. But they were talented. And he's like, just soak it in. Like it's amazing. It's awesome. And I was like, yeah, it's gonna be cool. Like, but I didn't know. And then you show up the first day, and you got to go through a special door, and then you got interviews, and then you go on to practice, and there's like other fans. There's your fans. There's the band. There's the cheerleaders. There's just so much stuff going on that you're kind of just looking around. It says March Madness on the floor. Like, man, this is really cool. And then you come into play the game. The game before ours was a crazy ending with Vanderbilt at Northwestern, and then we go out there, start warming up, and then the crowd starts to fill in, and it's just like, man, like this is really cool. Like this is what it's all about. So winning that game against VCU and then having a crack at Arizona, which I still think if we just make shots we normally make, we could get that one done. But that'll eat away at me for a while. But yeah, it was an awesome experience, and those 2 games were so much fun. That whole weekend was awesome, and the crowd, the St. Mary's fans that came to support were amazing, and it was an awesome experience that I'll never forget.
If you could boil your career here down to a moment, what was the best moment you guys had? It could even be off the court, but the best moment you had kind of as a team here in your 2 years or even 3 years here at St. Mary's?
I would say it's a mixture between the locker room after we lost against Arizona was, looking back, really special. So between that and just everyone just so emotional that the season ended, and I was crying. I knew it was my last game in college. I look up, Dane's crying, but then you look around and everyone's crying. Whether it's the red shirts that didn't play, whether it's guys that played a little bit. It was just all like no one wanted it to end. So like you look back like, man, like that's how much this meant to every single person, that everyone's just brought the tears from it. It was a pretty amazing moment. And then the joyful moment of last year winning at USF to clinch the league title was just a celebration. They bring in the trophy. It was just everything you worked for. So like, yeah, the moment of joy and the moment of sorrow kind of contrast each other. But those 2 moments are really cool in their own way, and I'll never forget them.
It's interesting you bring up that moment in the locker room because I think what everybody got to see in the final seconds of that game was all you guys embrace at center court. That was a really cool moment for St. Mary's basketball fans, and I think that really speaks to how close this team is, or this guys in this program are, and I think that's a big draw to come. I mean,
no, it's amazing
to be a Gael.
Yeah, I mean, you have Coach Bennett before the last few games of the year, like towards the year goes on, he starts to talk about like to the underclassmen, like, all right, like, don't take this for granted. Like, you guys still need to play well, but make sure you're playing extra hard for your seniors. We talk about it a lot. I remember last year we didn't have any seniors, but my redshirt year we talked about it, and guys embrace it. So after the closing seconds of the Arizona game, when it's my last, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, dead balls, like the guys on the court, Jock, sorry, man, like, sorry I had to go out like this way. Like, we really tried. And, like, every single guy is, like, apologizing to me. I'm like, why are you guys apologizing? Like, we were in this together. Like, I'm sorry I didn't play better. Like, what do you guys mean? But, yeah, it's just kind of how the program is and how special we are as a group. And I hope everyone in the locker room knows, I don't know if the freshmen know, I try to talk to them about it, that you don't find, like, our chemistry anywhere else. Between the players' chemistry, the chemistry with the coaches, anything like that. So I hope guys value it because it's a pretty special place to play basketball and just be a part of a family. And then the greater Moraga community is still like our other family member. Like, it's great. So, yeah, you won't find anything like it. And I try to get the young guys to know that. And I think as they get older, they will realize it. And, yeah, it's a great place.
I remember Evan Fitzner said that after you guys won at BYU this year. He said, we really wanted this one for our seniors. That was the first thing he said. And that kind of stuck with me because that's what this is all about. I mean, that's what competition is all about, is loving competing together.
Yeah, that was a big one for me because I was trying to knock out a win at every venue in 2 years, and I needed BYU and Pepperdine, which were kind of towards the end of the year. So those two games, especially after we got them done, everyone's like, Joe, like, we got you. Like, so I think Dane crossed his lifts off with that at BYU win. They hadn't won there for his first 3 years. And then I just needed Pepperdine, and then we were able the last week to go win at Pepperdine, the second to the last game of the year.
When the lights went out.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was crazy.
So, yeah, just little things like that where, like, you'll say things, and, like, most teams are like, oh, shut up. Like, but, like, guys really remember, like, yeah, let's go do that for them. So, yeah, it's really cool. Guys care about each other, and that's kind of what our program's about.
You talked about some of the younger guys, and especially the guards. How did those younger guards help push you to become better?
Their energy, their attitude, their positivity, it's infectious. Sometimes when you get into the lull of a season, you can get down. You're just like, oh, you go through it's a routine, and then you're just waiting for a game day. But with Jordan Ford and Steph and Tommy Kusi and Eli, the young guys they come to practice and they try to take it to us older guys, and like we're in like the drugs of the season sometimes. So like we're just like go to practice. All right, let's get through this 5-on-5, shoot some free throws, and get out of here. Like we'd have one hard Tuesday practice a week, but then when they start to take it to you, then your competitive side comes out, and then you going harder than you planned on going. So they made sure I could never rest too much, which at the time I thought was annoying, but looking back, it kept us sharp. It got us better, and everyone had a lot to do with us winning 29 games. So it was fun. It was definitely a team effort, and those guys are going to be really good players in the future. So it's going to be good. The Gael community should be excited.
Yeah, I was just gonna say some of the, like Jordan. I mean, the change of pace, how quick he is. Yep. I mean, I've seen Tommy Kuzi shooting. It seems like he hardly misses. And Elijah's length and athleticism kind of gives you a different look than what you saw with the older guys almost.
Yeah. There's definitely they play a different style kind of than we do. Jordan Ford is definitely a quicker, shiftier guard than me and Emmett are. Eli's a bigger body. Kusi's aggressive and talented, and he's fearless, which is it's fun to see as an older guy. You see a freshman coming in, and he redshirts, and then you're like, man, like this guy walks on campus, and all of a sudden he's just like competing and trying to take it to the seniors. And
he was impressive in that blue-white scrimmage.
He's good. He can really play. I'm excited to see how he turns out. So yeah, it's definitely a little change. And then you got Big Pez, who's 7'2" and ridiculously talented offensively, ridiculous touch. So it'll be a little bit of a different look in the coming future than what our team had, but it doesn't mean it's going to be worse. They have talent and they work really hard, which is a big thing for freshmen. They come in and they're always in the gym, which I remember my freshman year at BC, I couldn't even handle the workload of if we have practice and weights, my body's just killing me. I can't go get an extra workout, but these guys, they're in the gym 24/7. So
after every game, those guys are in here.
it's only looking up for the Gaels, so it's going to be good. It's going to be really good.
In your eyes, what makes a good leader?
For me, I think leading by example is key. If you're not doing what you're trying to preach, then no one's going to follow you. So that was always important for me, where being the captain of the team, just you can't talk about working hard unless you're working hard. So always trying to be in the gym. Never showing bad attitude to the coach. Coaches try to teach you something. Yes, coach. You look them in the eyes and you go out and do it. Being coachable, like leading by example is big, and then just kind of noticing things about guys, like how guys tick, which that takes some practice, learning, being able to just look, oh, like he's a little down today. Let's go talk to him, make sure he's all right. Little things like that. But I think leading by example is key. Where if you're not doing the right things, it's hard to get other people to do the right things. So
having a different relationship with each guy is
important.
Huge,
you can't treat every guy the same. Just it's not like that. But how your relationships aren't going to be the same, and how they respond to some guys, you need to yell at them. Like sometimes you just need to get on them and tell them to lock. Like Emmett, like you can tell Emmett or Fitz to, in a harsh voice. It doesn't matter if you think they're dragging or if they need to kick it in gear, and they'll do it. And other guys, you just be like, hey, like let's get going a little bit. Like you're doing great. Let's keep working. Like that sort of a thing. So, yeah, you can't treat everyone the same, and that's in terms of how you talk to them to try to get them to get it going a little bit. So, it definitely takes time to develop relationships. That's where our retreat in San Diego was really good for our freshmen. Everyone got to know each other hanging out for 48 straight hours. So, that was a really cool experience, and getting to know your teammates is key.
You mentioned your knee. I wanted to ask you, I mean, how much did that limit you at all? How much did it bother you down the stretch? Because I remember there was a play in the WCC tournament against BYU when you went down, and I was like, oh my God, he's going to be out here. And then you came right back on. You made a driving layup, and that was incredibly impressive, by the way. I mean,
oh, thank you.
But did that limit you at all down the stretch?
Yeah, it was tough. So the Santa Clara game, when I heard it, I came back in, and I probably shouldn't. Tony claims I shouldn't have, but I don't remember him telling me not to. So he's like, all right, go test it out. And I just, ran to the scores table. I was like, I'm in there. But that whole week leading up to it, I couldn't practice. I got a Toradol shot, so I had to go just kind of sit out and do some stuff with Tony on the side. So the first game, it was bothering me. The tape job, we didn't know which tape job would work because I hadn't really tried to play on it. So the tape job, the first game, I didn't feel very good. And I was worried. I was like, man, if I'm feeling like this the rest of the year, it's going to be tough for me. Then all of a sudden the tape job we did against BYU, I started moving a little better. So I probably, by the BYU game on, and the BYU game and Gonzaga game, I didn't feel great. But by the NCAA tournament, I felt a lot better. Still bothered me here and there. But I was probably around 80 to 90%. So obviously you'd like to be at 100, but 35 games in, it's tough to be at 100 either way. So it affected me a little bit. And then by the end of the 2 NCAA tournament games, it started to wear down. So that week afterwards, obviously you would have liked to win, but if we had to keep going, it would have been tough. But I would have kept playing, and it the adrenaline would have made it hopefully a non-issue. So, but yeah, it was one of those things where it's bad luck, and it was really the only injury I had that's bothered me in the 2 years here. And with all the minutes being played, that's a testament to Tony, our trainer, and our strength coach, and how the coaches limit us in practice to make sure we're ready for games. So I was really fortunate, and it happened at the end of the year. And senior year, you don't want it to happen, but hey, it's kind of how basketball is, and that's how sports are. So can't do much do too much about it.
That's true. How much longer do you have until you're completely 100%, or are you 100% right now? Just trying to strengthen
pretty close. Yeah, I'm just strengthening it now. I'm planning on playing pickup with the guys next week, so I'm pretty much there. I feel really good about it, and it's progressed quickly. It was supposed to be a pretty minor procedure, but it's something that I had to do to be able to continue playing professionally. So got it done, and we're about 4.5 weeks out of surgery, and I'm almost better. So it's not the worst thing in the world. It helped me rest my body a little bit, which probably needed. So it's not too bad.
Great segue to our next our final talking point here. What's next for Joe Rahon?
So I'm signed with an agent, and we're just trying to get better, and then hopefully start doing some NBA workouts here and there. Hopefully get invited by some teams to go work out for them. And then planning on playing in the summer league. I'm not sure which team yet, but I feel confident I'll be able to get on one and play in the NBA summer league, hopefully in Vegas from the July 7th to the 17th. And then go from there. Whether I'm going to pursue the NBA thing, and if that doesn't work out, go play internationally and at least for the time being, just enjoy playing basketball and doing what I love, and I'll get to make money for it now. And it's really a dream come true. So it's really exciting, and yeah, I can't wait.
Is basketball something you want to stay in for as a career? I mean, whether it's coaching or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna try to play as long as my body lets me, and as long as it's worth it. I know the overseas life gets a little tough when you're away from home for 6 to 9 months. But if that ends up happening and I enjoy it, I'm going to try to keep playing. And then, yeah, I'm definitely interested in getting into coaching. So hoping to have a long career in the basketball world, and I'm looking forward to that.
I can tell the way your mind works, because I remember you having conversations on the plane on the way back from road trips, like, hey, if we just would have run this here or at the 3:15 mark. Like,
no, I love it. Yeah. I love it. I love the X's and O's of it. Yeah, I find when I watch NBA games or college games, I'm looking like, man, that's a weird substitution. Like, there's just like little things that, like, my roommates, like, sometimes like, what do you like? Why are you watching for that stuff? And it's just like kind of how my brain works. I love the X's and O's of anything. Like, I'll play chess, I'll play Risk, the board game, like anything with strategy involved. Like, I'm in on it. So coaching's one of those things, and I'm too competitive of a person to not do a job that involves some sort of competition. So hopefully I can get in and be a successful coach and go from there. But that's a hard job too. Our coaches work really hard to be good at what they do. So
that's true.
It definitely won't be easy, but it's a challenge I'll look forward to when I get there.
As long as you love it, it won't feel like you're working.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Will we see you at the Gael All-Star Classic coming up here in June?
Yeah, definitely. I'm locked into it. Told Coach Bennett I'd be there. I should be up in Moraga throughout July. My lease ends in July up here, so I might be in and out for workouts and stuff, but my main home will be up here. So yeah, you can't get rid of me just yet. I'll be seeing you guys around.
Perfect. Well, Joe, thanks so much for joining. I know you got stuff to do here as the school year wraps up, but thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure covering you the last 2 years, 3 years, sort of.
Yeah,
2 years.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, and I think I can speak on behalf of everyone here at St. Mary's. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Joe Rahon on the Gael Hoop Report, and we wrap up this segment of our last shot with Joe Rahon and Dane Pineau. Stay tuned to smcgales.com for more content, and of course the Gael All-Star Classic coming up on June 25th, which is a Sunday. For Joe Rahon, Dane Pineau, Brian Navarro, Alex Jensen saying so long from Moraga.